I'm Caitlin.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Natalie. Welcome to the Stride Sisters podcast. Today's episode is extra special because we're playing a fun game of Never Have I Ever, Disney and Running Edition. To make it even better, we're joined by some amazing guests from the Rise and Run podcast. Together, we'll share our most hilarious, embarrassing, and surprising running and Disney experiences. So, lace up your shoes and step into the magic with us. I'm like playing our intro music. Yeah, I'm playing the intro music in my head and just vibing. Now I'm at the point, like I'm at the late part, like right before the fade out into the topic.
Well, I mean, that's as good a transition as any right there. We're a bop into our own music that we can't hear, but everyone else can.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What are we on? We just finished week 24? 3?
I shall consult the holy
I think we
spreadsheet.
finished week 23 and we're starting week 24.
That is correct.
Look, we're fully delusional over here. We got to consult spreadsheets. We don't remember. We're tired.
I was convinced that we were done with week 23 last week. So imagine my surprise when I went to type in week 24 on a recent post. And I'm like, oh, that is not what that is today.
All right. So if you're in marathon weekend training, then your long run this week was 6 miles. So hopefully, check. You guys got that done. And then if you are running Springtime Surprise in the challenge, your training also just completed its first week this week. So congratulations on your new journey. We're so proud of you and we cannot wait to see how it goes. I have a little training update about my simulation. Do you want to give your update, Natalie, first, or do you want to have me go?
I'll give mine because it's a little bit briefer. I had a good week of training. Hit the runs I needed to. Got a nice long walk in because the weather was really nice here. And yeah, did my first strength training in a couple weeks because when the simulations are taking over, I'm taking the rest. And I surpassed my 2023 distance this week. And there is still a good amount of month left to go. So that was exciting. I knew it was going to happen with how things were scheduled, but I have surpassed the distance by about 5 miles. So I think, I don't know. We'll see how close. I know I'll crack 800 for 2024.
Wow.
I don't think I'll quite get to 850. Actually, please hope I don't. But also, well, no, I probably will get to 850 because I have another simulation left to go. So with what's on deck, I probably will crack 850. I won't crack 900 though. If I do, please send some help to Nebraska for a lot of things, but especially that. But
Yeah.
let's hear about you.
I haven't dove into my stats that much. I have no recollection of what my total mileage was for any other year. All I know is that I'm going to get very, very close to 500. I'm not sure I'll quite. Definitely don't think I'll surpass it in like pure running miles. But if you add in like my warm up and cool down walks, and sometimes when I swap in a walk instead of a run, if you add up all those mileage, then I've definitely I'll definitely crack 500. So I'm pretty proud of myself. It's definitely way more than I ever did when I was training for Chicago. And I feel a lot better because of it.
The walking miles count. They all count in my spreadsheet because they're all shoe miles too. So it matters what you're putting on your shoes.
It's
So
not that I don't count them, like
it's that it's not easy to.
It's that because I log all my miles in Apple, it means I have to like go back and sort through which walks were like warm up cool down walks, which walks were just like with Ben walking Pepper, like, not as part of training. Not that those also don't contribute and help me train,
Yeah.
but, like, they weren't those would have existed anyways kind of runs or walks. Anywho, I had a I would say, like, a mixed bag maybe for my simulation this week. So, it was a very, very hectic week coming back from the holidays. So we came back, we hadn't like meal prepped at all. We had all this laundry, all these things going on in life that made the week chaotic and sort of set me up for like running around like a chicken with my head cut off and making the week difficult. So when I was supposed to run on Tuesday, I had a haircut that I forgot I scheduled like months in advance, as I do for all appointments because I'm not good at planning otherwise. I do it while I'm still there, so I can't forget. And so I got my hair done. And again, this is an audio only podcast. So if you haven't seen a picture of me on like our Instagram or something, I'll give you the down low. I have curly hair. And so the like few times a year when I get my hair cut, they blow dry it straight, it looks all sleek, it's very fun. And yeah, it's an expensive appointment, so I decided I wasn't going to do my run because I wanted to have my nice hair for at least one day at the office. So I was like, "Oh, I'll just do it on Wednesday." Well, Wednesday came and went and we had lots of things. I had appointments after work. It was just a very busy day and it didn't get done. So I was like, pushed it to Thursday. Thursday, I did run and I tried out a new pair of shoes. Or maybe that was Friday. Was that Friday?
I think that was Friday.
That was Friday. I don't know what
Keep
I did on Thursday.
keeper of the schedule over here.
Natalie remembers what I did more than I do. um, I again don't know what I did on Thursday, so we're gonna skip that. I swear I did something, but unknown. Friday, I tried a new pair of shoes. I remember this because this caused pain. Friday, I tried a new pair of shoes that I had ordered. I tried the step up in the New Balance from the 880s to the 1080s, and I went up half a size because on my long runs, if you hadn't heard, I got Sydney, I've gotten Bartholomew. I've gotten a lot of blisters this training block, and I was trying to fix the problem because I thought I was swelling and whatever. But my left foot is a half size smaller. And I think that means that the 10.5 is a little bit too big because when I got to 3 of my 5 miles that day, I could feel like the burning on sort of like the edge of the ball of my foot near where the joint is for your big toe, if that's like a good description. Like if you had a bunion, it would be there kind of thing, which I do actually have a slight bunion on that foot, so that's where it is. It's about the size. It was very tiny. It was like smaller than an eraser, and I thought it had gone away before my run this weekend, but it was annoying. I walked the rest of my 5 and then let it rest, and I was supposed to run 10 on Saturday, but I had to go to the jeweler for something. Then I had to come home and we went to the grocery store. Then I had to go to CVS and pick up medication. Then I had to go to the post office and mail a bunch of stuff. So I had a lot of chaos in my life. And then I also had to record for this podcast for something that you'll be hearing in the future. And so it was a
Ooh.
packed solid day. And by all the time that was over, it was like 8 8 p.m. or something. It was, like, maybe not quite that late, but it was pretty late, and I was like, "Do I wanna run 10 miles when I know I have to wake up and do 20 tomorrow? Should I because of simulation? Yes, probably, but I didn't. I ended up opting into a chill evening because I had a little bit of a headache, and I decided I didn't wanna push it and risk feeling even worse. I thought the 20-miler was a little bit more important in my journey. On Sunday morning, we got up and had a bagel, got ready, thought we were doing well, and then had a full on panic about my shoes because of said blister from Friday. And I had to call Natalie and consult after asking Ben and not being satisfied with his answer of which shoes should I wear. We were picking between 3 pairs, and we ended up actually deciding on my old shoes, which had already caused an issue with both Bartholomew and with Sydney. But we figured, what did we say? Like, known
Yeah.
enemy is better the unknown, like, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, we decided that, like, we'd know what kind of blisters probably would come from the shoe, worst case, versus unknown of what might happen with a new shoe, and which one was I more willing to risk. And I was like, well, if I got another blister in the same spot, like, at least it wouldn't be on the bottom of my foot, and I know that I can, like, recover from that. Luckily, that blister, Bartholomew and Sydney location did not reform. Everyone, round of applause. Woo! That one's still fine. I do have an itty bitty teeny tiny one on the opposite side of that big toenail, um, which caused a little bit of I actually didn't even realize it was there, but I think that's what was causing the pressure on my toenail for most of the run. And
Ah,
then my 20 also led to a bigger form of the blister that's on my left foot in that bunion area, which we have yet to name. We're taking naming submissions. If you would like to contribute, send us a message, send us an email. We've got a few contenders, but it's undecided at the moment.
feeling Roger.
I'm feeling Chip, and Caitlin is feeling
Ooh.
Janice.
Ooh.
So,
I liked the Brooks suggestion too.
yes, also a good suggestion. I feel like I maybe don't wanna lean into a potential shoe brand as the name
Yeah.
because I like Brooks, so I don't really wanna name a blister after a shoe that I like.
Get over
Um,
here, Hyperion Elite.
so, anywho, besides that, so, like, the outcomes, like, my feet, my toenails are probably my big toenails are both bruised. The run itself, after we, like, had the bagel and all this debacle with the shoes, we were running really, really delayed. I couldn't find my shocks for a while. I couldn't find my tape. Like, everything had gotten moved because Ben tried to, like, organize, and I'm the kind of person that, like, it probably looks like a disaster, but I know where everything is in that disaster.
Relatable.
So, I couldn't find a lot of things this morning, and it already takes me a long time to get ready for a run, so we didn't get out until, like, almost noon, which I think led to some of the issues later in the run. So, for the first half, honestly, of the 20 miles, I felt great. Ben did not feel great. He probably started feeling bad around mile, like, 8 to 10, like, right before the halfway mark and into a couple miles after, and then as soon as I was like, "Okay, we got this. We can triage the problem. You're not feeling good? Here's an extra gel. You're not feeling good? Drink this pickle shot." Like, do all the things, give you extra calories, give you extra electrolytes, and then 2 miles later, I just started crashing hard. Luckily, I had extra, so it's not like I gave him fuel that I needed to complete the run, and I still had 1 backup set of Cliff Blocks when I got home, but it was a close call. I ended up having to take a half-mile walking break. My left hip flexor really started acting up, and honestly, that was the worst part, is I'm not like, my toes can hurt so much, like, I can have feet problems all day. Um, Once it goes into my hips, I don't know what it is about that pain, it just, like, is really hard for me to push through and ignore personally, and it also was giving me, like, flashbacks to Chicago because I had pain in the same spot during the marathon, um, and it was kinda cold, it was, like, the exact same weather as Chicago here in Atlanta for this run, so I was having all these, like, "Oh, no, it feels like I'm repeating history." It was really messing with my head,
Yeah.
and I felt pretty bad from basically mile 12 until mile, I think, 16-ish. So for 4 miles, I was trudging, and at mile 16 is when I decided to take that walk break. We went to a potty stop, and I was like, "All right, I'm just gonna walk it out for a while. I know I can do this. There's only 4 miles left, but I just need a break. I'm just gonna put on my tunes." I put on my Disney Hits playlist, and that, like, honestly, I did that. I walked a half mile, and I took a honey stinger gel, and that gave me life. It's kinda hard to, like, be in a bad mood and feel terrible when like, obviously, the walking gave me a opportunity to sort of stretch out my hip a little bit, my posture was a lot better while r walking 'cause I didn't feel as tired, and the gel was kicking in, and I was listening to, like, Let It Go, and I was like, "We're gonna let the pain go." So, after that, though, it felt pretty good. I probably ran too fast at that point because I was so happy to not be in pain that I just really wanted to be done. We were, like, coming up near I think we finished under 5 hours, but we'd been out there a long time, so I was ready. And then luckily we got back and, like, I wasn't in pain at the end. I felt good. We took a big smiley picture and we had Uncrustables and Fairlife protein shakes waiting for us in the car,
Ooh,
as well as bananas and Liquid IV. So we had like a nice
little balance
snack.
station.
Yeah, and I drove us back and we went through the McDonald's drive-through for chicken nuggets and fries. I
So
needed a very
good.
quick infusion of, I just love chicken nuggets, honestly, and the salt from fries, so
Ooh.
it was
Oh,
much
man.
it was much needed. It definitely doesn't feel as good as you think it's going to. I don't necessarily recommend McDonald's as a post-run meal. Personally, it doesn't sit super well in my stomach, but it was what I was craving, so we went for it.
The salty fries sounds fantastic.
Honestly,
So
the fries were really good. I think it maybe was the chicken nuggets, unfortunately, which I crave so much that maybe the grease from all of it together hit my stomach a little hard post-run when all it's been trying to consume is pure sugar for 5
yeah, I
hours.
was just gonna
So,
say,
it was like, "Wait a minute, what's real food?"
do not compute. This is not a honey stinger. This is not honey based. What is this?
Yeah,
Unless you got honey mustard, which would be even funnier.
I did not. We tried to get barbecue sauce, and they gave us the wrong order first, and then I think they were so frazzled that we didn't get any sauce whatsoever, so it's
Oof,
okay because we have a giant stockpile at home, but
mood.
I am actually, like, so proud of myself, though, because even though it felt like I was reliving the Chicago experience, honestly, for a couple of miles, I was really proud of myself that I was able to with the, encouragement, there was people messaging me on our Instagram saying, like, "You can do this, you've got this, your mom, KG, my mom."
Mhm.
Lots of people, messaging and encouraging along the way, and I never got to this point when I trained for
No.
Chicago. So this is the longest training run I've ever done, and it does feel I was feeling really confident going into it, which is wild considering the shoe debacle and everything else. I was probably overconfident, but it just really, really feels like I can do this. Like,
Yes.
I mean, am I still worried that I have to do this at 3 AM? Not running at 3 AM,
We're
but,
not
like,
talking about
all that other
it.
stuff? Yes, but this run really gave me the confidence that, like, we've got this in the bag. I do think we're going to accomplish our goals.
Yes.
So, woo!
There's something magic about 20,
There
and it's
is.
just it's emotional, it's magical,
I
it's
don't know if it's just because, like, that's the magic number, like, literally every training plan out there, like,
Mhm.
spouts as, like, "If you can do this, then you've got it in the bag." And I think that's true, like, after that, all you've got is the 10K, and that, honestly, I think at that point, unless you have a serious injury, is all mental. So I think even though it wasn't pleasant that I had those 4 miles of despair, I think that was the real thing I learned from this run is that, like, I can do it, which I should know anyways. I trudged through 13.1 during Chicago miserably, but at least I know that I can get through it, and I can still be, like, happy and, like, generally healthy at the end, like, I can have both, like, I
Yeah,
can and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
it's gonna be so good, and we're just it's 10K day in a month.
Oh, oh gosh. I'm
Ah,
sweating.
yes. Screaming, crying, throwing up, but not throwing up. But it's yeah, it's so funny to see, and it's like and I'm seeing it with you and then feeling it both with myself too, of like being a month out and that's not it's scary, but it's not
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it.
Like, it'd be
Oh,
weird if you weren't scared.
yeah, that would
But it's
be
not
crazy.
terrifying. Like, and just watching, like, reaping the profits of the hard work and training that you've done too.
For sure.
Then there's and
Ooh,
then there was one long weekend or what long run weekend.
yeah,
Then there was one.
just one more. We've already talked. We started, as we say, scheduling is the hardest part of these simulations.
Yes.
That and then like the mental challenge if you have a bad chunk. And Ben and I have already started discussing like what the last weekend simulation is going to look like because we're supposed to travel to my parents' house for the holidays. So we're like, okay, so if we do these runs at home and then we finish the run and then we do the drive in the afternoon, evening, then we'll be set up to do the run, like the final run at my parents. They live in the country, so there's like lots of places to run. And I think we have a solid plan. Everyone keep the fingers crossed.
Yeah. That's interesting you're bringing up travel is because that's also when I'm gonna travel home, but I'm avoiding trying to figure that
You're going
out,
to do it
and
early, aren't you?
I'm doing it this week. So,
Oof.
I'm scared, in a way because I say a lot that Natalie doesn't do 26 miles in training, but lizard brain,
Mhm.
monkey brain is now like, "Okay, but, like, what if you do?" Because I think and then, of course, I'm not what kind of psychopath doesn't do 26.2? It's not what who doesn't do it, right? Like, how can you
Natalie.
I know, but at the same time, we'll see. I think I'm gonna commit mentally myself to,
I mean, you're on track. You already did 23, right?
I did 23 and a half. So I'm gonna commit myself to 24.
Mhm.
That gets me well into Hollywood Studios. Actually, probably out of Hollywood Studios, if I'm being real with you, and onto the boardwalk, and then it's just a kind of a celebration from there. So,
Mhm.
but if I'm feeling really good at 24 or like feeling pretty good there, I don't think I'm gonna. I just want to see what happens,
Chaos,
which is
Natalie.
yeah,
Chaos.
chaos dragon. But since I'm doing it 4 weeks out versus 3 weeks, because 3 weeks is your recommended taper, this is what I did last year too. It was a weather based thing where weather for me is fingers crossed it stays this way, but it's looking pretty good up here. And it looks like it'll be a nice 40-degree day with lower winds. I'm not going to say low winds because that's a good way for them to be double digits, but I'll take what I can get here. But what I did is about 2 weeks out, I did a longer run where I did, I think, about 11, if not 12,
Mhm.
2 weeks out to kind of keep a little bit longer juice in my legs. And that worked out pretty well for me for the marathon last year. Um, I know it's the winter. So if you're somewhere where it's snowing or you have like feet of snow, where I was talking to someone this week who had feet of snow and I was horrified for her um, to deal with. You got to just kind of take what you can get and take the nice weekend that you can get.
Mhm.
If I had planned differently, this past weekend was beautiful in Omaha, but it was not enough recovery from my 23 or the
Mhm.
weekend that capped in a 23 for me to do it. So, and then it would also be 5 weeks out versus doing it 4 weeks out. It's a little bit better.
Mhm.
Jeff Galloway says your body remembers the wrong long run for about a month if it's like for a marathon.
Mhm.
So is what it is at this point because the thought of running 26 miles and then while like the quads hurt and whatnot, sitting in the car
Yeah.
for 8 hours
Mhm.
was not appealing.
Yes. That is why we're tentatively planning to do I think it'll be 11 and
Yeah.
then quote unquote sit in the car. We'll probably like walk around, do some things at home
Yeah.
first, and then get in the car. And it's not 8 hours; it's only like 4. So,
Oh,
not that
dang.
4 isn't a long time to sit in the car post like doing a lot of activity,
Mhm.
but it's not the worst thing that could ever happen.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Ours is
Otherwise, we
closer to
have to like we'll see.
Yeah, ours is closer to 7 on a good day, but whenever we make this trek home for Christmas, the wind, the
Mhm.
wind, the wind. So it's taken closer to 8.
Mhm.
So I just mentally book in 8, and if I get in like 6:45 or 7, I'm a happy camper. I just
Yeah.
set the expectation low.
Yeah, we set
Uh,
ours at 4. If we get lucky and there's no traffic or anything, we can get there in 3.5 or less. But I basically just assume it's 4 because there's almost always some kind of traffic when you try and leave Atlanta. So,
I was gonna say
almost
Atlanta,
always.
traffic, handshake.
Best friends, unfortunately, yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, we don't really have any injury updates other than my blisters, which I already informed you about. So I think we're good to go there. Let's get to our countdowns. We kind of alluded to it already at this point, but 29 days until marathon weekend. Whoop whoop. Oh my God.
And just to celebrate, they dropped us the event guide
They
last
did.
week.
Ah! So make sure you tune in next week to hear all about it. We will have it for you. You'll just have to hold on just a little bit longer.
Deep dive time.
And trust me, we did. I am and Natalie and Caitlin, we've all dedicated a lot of time to reading and filling out our outline. This is maybe one of the longest ones we've ever written. So we're ready.
So ready. I pour over it. And now it's I can dedicate it to a purpose because I did it before too.
Like the absolute psycho that I am, when I ran Chicago, I actually read the entire event guide word for word from start to finish because I was so worried with, with it being a major and all the rules, not that I'm winning any money or anything, but like that I wanted to make sure I knew it all. So,
We're
here we
both the
go.
same brand of type A. Speaking of Chicago really quickly, the marathon lottery gets called tomorrow. Not tomorrow, on Thursday, sorry, but on the 12th. So,
What is
good
time?
luck. Yeah, what is chime? It's not real anymore.
Oh my gosh.
So, good luck if you're waiting on good news. I'm hoping good news for you, and, join me.
And if you wanna donate to her charity bib, the link's in the show notes. Alright, we've got 51 days until Disneyland Half Marathon 2025, so that will be your first opportunity for a 2025 coast to coast if you're running that. Um, we wish you all the best of luck. It's getting close. You're under 2 months away. And then we've got 72 days until Princess Weekend 2025, which also feels absolutely bonkers because it's just like only barely a month later than like maybe a month and a half later than marathon.
Mhm.
So it'll be pretty short interlude before we get to see each other again.
Yay!
That's the
But
best
even
part of running Disney is seeing your friends all the time.
Yes. Yes.
All right, and then we've got 114 days until Springtime Surprise Weekend 2025, and the challenge finally sold out. So, if you're wanting to run in springtime, the 10 miler is still open as well as yoga? Question
Yep.
mark? Yeah. Yoga is also available. So you got a few openings. I think if we see any sporadic challenge openings, Natalie is considering. She's
I'm
so
just
close to a
thinking
perfect
about it.
season, y'all. So close.
I know. And I shouldn't let something somewhat arbitrary get me, but also it's like right before my 30th too. So
What a
it's
way to
like,
celebrate.
I know. Oh man. I'm still gonna think about it a little bit. We're gonna see how that all shakes out because of some other potential plans I have in the spring. We're gonna see.
All right, and then our final countdown update. We have 268 days until the Disneyland Halloween Half Marathon 2025 and the start of a new season.
Woo! Hope you guys all got what you wanted for registration.
Mhm.
It seems like it went pretty smoothly from what I heard. I know that the 5K and 10K went day of, I
Mhm.
think.
They about an hour. 50 minutes I
Yeah.
think for the 5K and a little bit longer for the 10.
Yeah. But the half and challenge are still open,
Correct.
which is
They are.
crazy. So if you're still thinking about it, It's one of those where I'm thinking about it, but, like, I know it can't happen type of things
Mhm.
based on timing, but
I want it so badly because
I
I
know.
do someday want a coast to coast, but I think that one's gonna have to wait a while. Honestly, if they open up the chateau castle to chateau,
Yeah,
whichever one, yeah, goes to Paris, like, I'll probably do that before I do domestic coast to coast.
or hear me out. Go coast to chateau.
All in one. I
Oh,
might
yeah.
I'm I might be able to justify that as like a yeah, we'll see.
Be what if they do, like, a special medal for that when that eventually comes back? Like,
For just a chateau or for doing all 3?
like, if you did all 3, if you did coast to chateau, like how we had the crazy back-to-back dopey week, like how
Uh-huh.
they like, if you do a Disneyland, a Walt Disney
Well,
World, and a chateau,
then I
and
have to do it,
oh, yeah,
obviously.
duh, duh.
Alright, you ready for some Disney news?
Yeah, we had a lot of smaller stories and then a couple bigger ones this time around. So, we have the name of the villain show at Hollywood Studios. It's going to be called Villains Unfairly Ever After. This might debunk the theory that, like, this is a temp going to Magic Kingdom later because of Muppets, but that's okay. In test track related news, General Motors will take over the sponsorship for it when it reopens. And I think it got a new awning put up, so that's exciting. And is expected in late 2025.
And just to clarify for anyone who doesn't know anything about cars, which is totally valid, General Motors owns Chevrolet, so
Mm.
it's going from, like, parent company, it's not like a whole brand new if they
It's not
went to,
like
like,
Subaru
Ford
took it. Yeah.
or yeah, or Subaru or Suzuki or something, but yeah.
Some news we haven't heard a lot about in a while. The Little Mermaid show, so formerly Voyage of the Little Mermaid. So the new name is Little Mermaid, a musical adventure, will come in summer 2025. Ever since they delayed it, because originally it was supposed to be in late 24, we hadn't heard anything about it. So hearing some sort of positive confirmation from Disney that it's going to come in the summer is pretty exciting. Speaking of something that we hadn't gotten news on and now we did, Dinosaur is reportedly going to be open all of 2025. So,
Ooh. So they just wanted to scare us.
yes. It's interesting because they just said, if you want to see Dinosaur, make sure you get there. And the language on the announcement says through 2025. So, like, is it a like New Year's Eve closing? It's probably going to be after Marathon Weekend next year, to be quite honest. But if you were kind of a little worried about your time with to go get that dino, Dr. Seeker's contract was extended just a little longer, so he has more time to look for a job.
Very excited. I rode that for the first time as an adult, possibly ever, who knows, when we were there for Wine and Dine, and I'm obsessed with it now, and Ben made me promise that we would ride it together marathon weekend, so we will be doing that.
Aw. Yeah, I'm excited to hear that there's gonna be more time to enjoy it.
Mhm.
And also, selfishly, I'm not saying that this means that the Muppet closure is later, but I don't know, it makes me feel good about it. The Magic Kingdom parade that was announced at D23 now has a name. It's called Disney Starlight, and they're
That's
saying
fun.
late. It's so cute. Late 2025. Like I said, it's a lot of small, at least in the Walt Disney World, it's a lot of smaller stories, but
Mhm.
I think impactful nonetheless. The Spaceship Earth Lounge that's coming to Epcot will open in late spring of 2025. So
Hmm.
if you're a fan of lounges and lounge experiences like I am, you have a new one coming your way.
Oh, maybe that's why we're gonna have to go to springtime. Maybe if
Oh,
it's coming
yeah.
in spring, then
Oh, man. You're right. Yeah.
hate when you find new rationale.
New rationale to use that AP.
Although although, if it opens in spring, it might be so busy that maybe if we wait till later in the year, we have a better shot of getting in.
That is also true. And seeing that Magic Kingdom parade and
Mhm.
The Little Mermaid, yeah, that's true, that's
Mhm.
true.
Mhm.
Again, girl math, Disney math, going so strong right now. Going over to the West Coast, where I feel like a bigger bulk of our announcements came. I'm gonna start with a small one. So, as of today, day of drop, Tiana's Bayou Adventure is standby, so no more virtual queue. So we got bigger news to talk about.
Okay.
Disneyland's 70th anniversary news dropped this week. So the 70th anniversary will be on the 17th of July, 2025. The celebration will start May 16th of 2025 and last through summer 2026. Love extending a celebration over here. Wondrous Journeys, which is a fireworks show that debuted definitely post-COVID, will return for the celebration. Walt Disney, A Magical Life, will debut at the Main Street Opera House on May 16th, so the start of the celebration. And that's where the Walt animatronic is going. So the very first Walt Disney animatronic. So that'll be exciting. Paint the Night Parade is coming back. That is a very, very exciting thing for a lot of people. It seems really cool. I've seen a couple videos of it. Very catchy tunes. But
Ooh.
events, there's a ton of events that were announced, and I'm going to only touch on two of them. But Lunar New Year will be the 17th of January of 25 to the 16th of February in 25. And that's going to overlap Disneyland Half Marathon weekend. So we got ghosted by any kind of special festival over at California Adventure during the Disneyland races this past year, but won't happen for 2025.
That
And
sounds
then,
like a great opportunity for snacks.
yes.
Can't wait to hear about those.
Oh, yeah. They do it so good with snacks over on the West Coast, too. Not to say Walt Disney World doesn't, but the snack game is beautiful. And then Oogie Boogie Bash dates were announced. It's going to start in August and run so August 22nd to the 31st of October, so Halloween. There's one the Tuesday before Disneyland Halloween Half Marathon weekend and one after. So I'm sorry, but Disneyland Halloween Half Marathon weekend got skirted.
Yeah. So
By
you're
Oogie
either going to have
Boogie.
to come early or stay late if you want the opportunity.
Yes. And I hear amazing things about Oogie Boogie Bash with the treat trails and the cool characters and whatnot. So I hear it's something worth trying to stay for if you can take a little more extended trip home. And that's all I got on news for today with our fun fact. We are newfound lovers of living with the land. Just kidding. I'm an old time lover. It's more that
I'm kind of
Hannah,
a newfound lover.
yes, just yeah. Hannah is the new lover of living with the land. And Living with the Land, which was previously Listen with the Land, reopened on the 12th of December, 1993.
Wait, I didn't know that it used to have a different name.
Oh, yeah, it did. It had a new opening and kind of closing scene with it.
Oh.
So I'm always plugging the Morning Monorail podcast because I love it. But they have a segment called M34D where they go through Disney history and all the history associated with an attraction. So like Buzz Lightyear was not always Buzz Lightyear in Tomorrowland. It was Delta Dream Flight at some point, and I'm going to do it not the justice it deserves because it's gone through a couple different iterations on that same track in Buzz Lightyear in Tomorrowland. But always a plug for them. I love M34D. I love the history of attractions and whatnot. And they do it about in the earlier days of the monorail, they would do it as a segment every week. Now it's about once a month. They do an extended segment for an M34D. But check it out if you haven't already.
All right, and that was a fun fact, but you know what's even more fun? Our
What?
guests that we have for our main topic.
Yay! So we have some very, very, very special guests here with us tonight.
All right, you
Who
made
are
me
you
laugh.
people?
You made me laugh.
Who cracks first? Who are you people?
Well, I don't know the other guy. Hello, my friends. I'm Bob from the Rise and Run podcast, and I'm delighted to be here with you. Thank you so much for inviting us.
And I'm John. How you guys doing? Glad to be here.
Oh, thank you guys for coming. Got both your little catchphrases in there too. That's great.
We're so happy to have you.
Thanks. It's fun, guys. It's fun.
All right, we got two things on the agenda today. So we have some questions, get to let our listeners get to know you if they don't know you already.
Okay.
Which will
And
be
then-
wild.
Yeah.
That's all right.
And then we will play a game of Never Have I Ever.
Okay.
But I will start with the intro. So, if you guys want to talk a little bit about your general personal running history.
John, why don't you kick it off?
Okay, I know you'll be a tough act to follow. I know.
No, that's not the point. See, this is behind the scenes. This is how the Rise and Run podcast works. Okay,
yeah.
I kind of direct the orchestra. So, John, go ahead.
Okay, so personal running history. I did that school running stuff you did in school. You did the Presidential Fitness Award stuff. Okay, it was okay. I was more like, okay, let me get 50-yard dash. That's great. That's quick. It's over and we're done. Never really had an interest into the longer running part. But then, you get older, you got to go to the gym. You sit in the treadmill for like a half an hour, 45 minutes. Then one day I said, let me try to go out and start running outside, go running on a race. And that's basically how it started. I mean, it wasn't like I was a high school runner or anything like that. It was just trying to get fit and, get back in some kind of shape.
Well, you're in good company because none of us liked running before runDisney. So
Yeah.
Y'all were swimmers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. I'm old, so I have a long running history, but let's say I can break it down a little bit. As a young man, I was an okay athlete. I played played basketball at a very small college, so that was I ran to get in shape for a season, but I never ran recreationally. When I graduated college, I went into the Army, and yeah, you're going to run a little bit there. So I did. The first time I really did any recreational running was when I was stationed in Hawaii in 1985. I got there. The idea of a marathon had always fascinated me, being able to do one, 26 miles. Wow. When I got there the weekend that they had their first ever Great Aloha Run, which is a point-to-point run from the clock tower down at Waikiki Beach up into Aloha Stadium. It's a little over 8 miles.
Okay.
And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. I set a goal to do that the next year. So that was my first race. And I really enjoyed it. It's a long story, but I really had a good time. It kind of hooked me into recreational running. And golly, I'm in Hawaii. You just look for reasons to be outside. So I did a lot of running while I was there, culminating with the Honolulu Marathon in 1988. And then in January of 89, I participated as a team. We didn't call them Ragnars back then, but there's an event, the Perimeter Relay around Oahu. It's 125 miles, I think. We had a 7-person team, and it was great fun. I was reassigned to Alabama and kind of fell out of love with recreational running for a while. I stayed active. I was a referee for high school sports, basketball and soccer. And you do a lot of running in those. So I stayed relatively fit. I didn't pick recreational running up again until I was into my 60s. I had I was working a high school playoff soccer match and I tore my Achilles tendon. And after it healed, the doctor, yeah, it was an ouch. But after it healed, the doctor, the orthopedist said to me, look, you're okay, but if you go back to what you were doing, you're going to be back here. And I thought it meant no more running. Well, what he was talking about wasn't so much straight line running. It was the cutting and stopping and moving that you have to do as an official. And my little dog is around here somewhere. She's still with us. I got a dog, decided to take her for walks in the morning, and she wanted to run. So I run with her. And I'd get home and go, you know what? I feel okay. I don't hurt. I feel all right. So I eventually got back into recreational running, and then I found runDisney, and the rest is history.
That's amazing.
See, how could I follow that?
That's
got
what
the
we say
dog.
sometimes with Natalie.
You follow it every week, John. You're
I
all
know.
right.
That's awesome. Now, did you either of you have any touch points with Run Disney prior to getting involved in it and signing up for that first race? So, for example, Caitlin was a cast member and she did a
Mm.
college program, and she sometimes had her shifts reassigned or things that had to move around her.
True. Well, mostly it was just for our bus schedule. They would just tell us, like, you know, make sure you plan extra time because the buses have to
Oh.
go a different route because the roads have been closed because of the marathon. So you have to get to work
Mhm.
earlier now or take a different route to work. But sometimes my shifts were changed, yes.
Mhm.
Or I happened to be there for marathon weekend in 2016, and I never saw any runners. I just saw people with medals later
Oh.
because we were at Magic Kingdom on Marathon Sunday, and obviously it goes through the Magic
Yeah.
Kingdom before Magic Kingdom opens, and we were surprised it was a little more crowded. So,
Mhm.
do either of you have any sort of touch point before then you kind of got into it, or was it just signing up for your first race?
Well, I didn't have anything like that, but I discovered Run Disney through Facebook, and a friend had a run. My friend Christopher Sapienza has a Facebook site, Run Disney and Beyond. And back in 2015, I discovered that, and he was getting ready to do the Wine and Dine race. Now, Becky and I, gosh, my first trip to Disney was 1974. Disney World. The next trip was sometime in the 90s when I went with Becky, and we had at the time 2 young children. And then she and I went back together for the first time, just the 2 of us, to the Food and Wine Festival. We
Hmm.
thought, "Oh, man, this is great." We loved it. So, when I found out that the Food and Wine Festival had a race associated with us, that was exciting. I missed 15, I was too late, but I did it the next year, but, that's as close as I come to a touch point before getting involved in Run Disney races.
So mine was I had a friend that was going down. This is probably mid not probably mid 2000s, probably like maybe like 2005. Says I'm running the marathon in Disney. I go, you're nuts. Who wants to go to Disney and run a race? You know, like especially a marathon. You're crazy. So, and I go, I'll never do that. Well,
Here we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Each of us has had that conversation with ourselves.
I've had that conversation a lot with my coworkers.
Yeah.
So, Bob, you alluded to this, but your first was Wine and Dine in 2016.
Well,
Oh.
let me be totally honest. I thought so. For years, I thought so. And for some reason, I was rearranging medals, and I looked, and I have a Castaway K 2015 medal. So
Ooh.
technically, that was my first ever. The first, yeah, 2016 Wine and Dine half marathon. That's the one I kind of count as my first, but I was I was surprised. I
It's the
did do it. And I
first one in a
remember doing
park.
it. That's back when it really was an organized event. When they got you all together, and I think there was a fee, I think.
Oh,
And
so
I think there was. I'm not even sure about that. But it
so
was
did you
definitely. Go ahead.
okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna ask, did you end up on one of the boats, like the post-marathon boat ship? I know, ship.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it was a summer cruise. 'Cause it was
Okay.
really hot. But no. But yeah, you had a bib, and then
Huh.
they get you. The runners all got to go to Castaway early. We all walked out. We met in one of the dining areas, and we all went out together, and we did our 5K and came back to the ship. It's much different now. It's basically just, okay, you ran it. Okay, here's your medal.
Do you have to pay for the Castaway K
Not now.
5K?
Not now. You don't. No.
That's what I thought.
Oh.
Okay.
And I don't think you did then. The one you did have to pay for was there was a challenge associated with marathon weekend. And if you went to that one, there was a registration fee for that one. I don't remember what it was. But the medals were nicer for that one. It was actually a metal. I got it backwards. A
Yeah.
metal medal. Uh, but the one I have, the 2015, is a
Wasn't it?
rubber
You
one.
got two more medals, right? I think you got a Castaway K
Yeah, you
Challenge
did.
medal
Yeah,
and the 5K medal.
and the rubber medal. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was pretty neat. They had character stops and everything for that one, and
Ooh.
they even had post race refreshments. Wasn't a big deal, but yeah, but that's gone, sadly.
Maybe someday they'll bring it back.
I hope it was fun. It was a nice way that I did that one after my first dopey, but they haven't offered it again.
And what about you, John?
Okay, so my first Run Disney weekend, as anyone can know what my favorite movie
Mm-hmm.
trilogy is, was Star Wars. I did Star Wars 2019. My friend goes to me, John, they got a Star Wars race down here. You want to try to get in? I go, like, why am I going to run at Disney? Okay. They give you a nice, cool shirt and you get a medal. I go, okay, let me try it. Yeah,
That's all it
yeah.
took.
I mean, that's my rationale for things as well. Like
Yeah,
free shirt, I'm
Yeah.
in.
It's
maybe a banana.
Star Wars themed. He goes, the 501st is there. They hang out as character stops. I'm like, great, this is awesome. So I signed up for the 5K, and
Oh.
that was the rain delayed for almost, I think, almost an hour and a half. Rain delayed, lightning delayed 5K, where they shortened it to about 2.5 miles, and there was no characters on the course.
Hmm.
Oh.
But I did get a photo with Darth Vader before the race, so it was all worth it.
Nice.
The stuff of Disney lore,
There
Disney
you go.
legend,
Yeah.
are the rain shortened delays
Oh
or
yeah. Oh yeah.
delays, races,
Yeah.
etc.
When something out of the ordinary happens, yeah.
It's like, woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of things that, I'm never going to do this, and then you find yourself doing it, what did your journey to your first dopey look like, and what made you decide to do it?
Hmm. You want to go, John?
Okay, I'll go. So first dopey. So I decided to do dopey I started this in 2019. So I said, okay, 2021 I'll do dopey because I figured, okay, let's go. Uh, I want to do this all three Star Wars races in 2020, and I'll do 2021 dopey. We all know how well that happened. That got shut down
Yeah.
really quick. So I'm like, okay. So that's why I was going to say I could do the three races here in April, and then in 2020, then I can train for the marathon part of it, and I should be good. So basically, my first dopey, I pretty much trained for almost 2 years for it. 2021, oh, that got canceled. 2022, here we go. That was my start of trying to get into and doing dopey.
Do you think it was a
Okay.
good call?
Oh yeah, like I said, and Bob's going to say the same thing I said. Well, let's go. You did this. Are you done? I go, nah, I'm doing it next year.
Yep.
It's funny because those were supposed to be the first Disney races that I was registered for as well. I was
Yeah.
signed up for Star Wars in 2020, and then that was
Oh.
canceled. And then we registered for Marathon Weekend 2021, and then that was canceled.
Yeah.
So, Springtime Surprise 2022, that ended up being my first Run Disney weekend.
Mm-hmm. How did I get into dopey? Oh gosh, I did. Let's see. I did the half marathon. Didn't want to try the challenge because it had been a long time since I'd done recreational running. 2016 now, so 17 I came back and did the challenge. I enjoyed that. The dopey to me was much like when I was talking earlier about I always wanted to do a marathon back in the 80s, and I ended up doing Honolulu. Dopey was out there, and I thought, man, but honest to goodness, I thought it was impossible. I really, really didn't think I could do it. And I got some encouragement. One of the wonderful highlights of this whole journey is all the friends we've made. And I had a friend I made early on in this adventure young woman named Megan who had done it before, and she said to me, "Bob, you can do it." And she said, "I will send you my finish times for last year's Dopey." And when she sent me her finish times for a 5K, 10K, etc., I went, "Oh, maybe I can do this," because I, they tell us 16-minute miles, 16-minute miles, got to do them, got to have them. And it's not that I can't run a 16-minute mile. It's just that I didn't think I could do it for all 4 races. And I looked at the results and I went, maybe I don't have to if I can get a good placement or whatever. So my journey into Dopey, when I started training, I was using the Galloway training plan straight off of the runDisney page, and I did that religiously. By 19, I had met Jeff on several occasions, so we're, we've become we've become relatively close by now. But back then, he kind of knew who I was and was happy to help me and talk with me. And I remember him giving me advice like putting his hand on my shoulder, which, if you've ever seen Jeff and me together, is quite a sight, uh, and saying, "Bob, walk the half. You can run a little bit in the others if you want to, but walk the half." And I always spread that advice. And as John just said, I went through, I did the 4 races. I wasn't sure. Nobody ever is. Heck, I'm about to do number 5 and I'm not sure. Look,
Amen.
it's a challenge. It's a difficult challenge, and you can be prepared or more prepared, less prepared. You can't toe that start line on Thursday and know with 100% confidence you're going to finish Sunday. It's a lot of miles. But I did, and as John said, I crossed the finish line and found my wife and said, "That was great. I can't wait to do it next year." And the only years I missed were COVID, and then I had a year where I had 2 leg surgeries that I just couldn't get the training in, so I missed. That would have been 22, but I've made all the others. I don't know if this is the last one or not. We'll see.
We'll
I
see.
think I heard that before.
Yeah, we'll see.
Bob, you mentioned that you started with the Galloway training off the Run
Mhm.
Disney website. How has your training evolved and changed since then?
Biggest thing is I joined Chris Twiggs with customized training, uh, and that's been a great help. Uh, Unfortunately, and I don't like to dwell on it because I feel very fortunate that I'm still able to cross the start line, so I'm happy with that. But starting in 21, 21 or 22, it doesn't really matter. No, it would have been 21. I suffered a series of injuries that really kept me from running for nearly 3 years. Two of them
Wow.
required surgery. I had 3 different it's
It's a long road.
it's a long road. You know that song that Toby Keith wrote, "I Ain't As Good As I Once Was"? Yeah, he wrote it for
Oh.
me. Yeah, he wrote that.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Where my body says you can. Let's see. My body says you can do that, but my pride. Oh no, my body says you can't do that, but my pride says, "Oh yes, you can." Yeah, that's me. But what it evolved into for me, and at one point, like I said, for 3 years it was walking, so I learned to walk at a pretty quick pace. Now it's evolved into taking the training at an easy pace and preparing myself to go the distance. And I do train myself for the allotted time, and
Mhm.
I am more than capable of doing that. So, uh, getting with Chris and customized and just putting the ego aside a little bit are the things that have evolved in my training.
Okay. And John, has your training evolved over time? I
Yes.
think
So
everyone's does.
yeah. Well, I was like for where I live. I live in the tri-state area, right outside of New York City.
Mhm.
Not many people do the Galloway method. Let's say run, walk, run.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So I was a straight runner. You know, five 5K, 10K, halves, straight run through. Walk break here and there, but
Mhm.
nothing, scheduled. Then when I decided, okay, I'm doing Dopey, and got in some of the Facebook groups, the one that Alicia started, the first timers group. They all talked about the Galloway method and the run, walk, run. I go, I think if I'm successfully going to do this, I need to try this, and that's where I got into the run, walk, run method. of running, and I think that helped me get through my first dopey because I don't think I would be able to have trained or completed it if I did not do the run walk run method.
Yeah, that's relatable. When I ran my first marathon, it was Chicago, and we started going and we went to take our first walk interval and no one around us was walking and it was so early in the race and I had a moment of like fear of
Yeah.
not embarrassment, but it feels very different whereas like at Run Disney everyone's doing it, so it's just normal. But we stuck with it
Yeah.
and we did it, and probably the only reason I made it, because if you listen to the episode where we talk about how my race at Chicago went, it didn't go well, but it definitely would have been a DNF without that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kept a lot of us running.
Yeah.
And it's, I think, I have read this elsewhere that Jeff Galloway may be the most influential person in the history of recreational running. And I think that's very likely true.
I would believe it.
I'd put my money on that.
Yeah.
There's thousands, tens of, probably hundreds of thousands of us at this point.
Yeah, there are, literally.
Yeah.
And between his classes, his training, his lectures, his books, yeah.
And I get to say I've passed an Olympian on a race course before.
I did it.
He's passed me back, but
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember the first time I passed him. It was one of the Wyandottes. And I thought to myself, well, no big deal. I mean, good grief. He's stopping every couple seconds to chat with somebody or this or that. And then but I got past him. By this time, we know one another. And I thought, oh, geez, that was a mistake. Now I can't let him pass me back. And I didn't.
that's fantastic. So, what I want to hear is, what is one of your most memorable races that you've had? And it could be Run Disney or otherwise.
Oh, shucks. I mean, well, the answer is always the last one, but
True.
there are several, but I did pick one out, and it was Jeff Galloway's half marathon. Jeff had a half marathon. I have technically done them all because during COVID he offered the opportunity to earn the medals from earlier races virtually. So I have, let's put it this way, I have a medal from every Jeff Galloway half marathon.
Wow.
But they used to be in December. There aren't that many. There's, golly, 8 or 10, I guess. And for one of them, I knew I had to walk. I wasn't going to be able to run. So for that specific race, I worked on walking as fast as I could for a half marathon. And if you've never done Jeff's, it's a hilly half marathon. I finished in 2 hours and 47 minutes walking, averaging 12 minutes and 34 seconds a mile. And I was very, very proud of that. So that's probably my most memorable race.
Good job, Bob.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Well, I created, and I should go with this. I should patent this. I created, you know how Jeff has run, walk, run? Well, I had walk, walk, walk. And I literally wore my timer, my gym boss, and I would go at my maximum walking pace for 2 minutes, and then I'd ease back to a casual walking pace for the next 30 seconds. And I remember starting off, and the first mile was like 12:15 or something. I went, oh, that's too fast. And then the next mile was 12:10. I went, oh man, you need to slow down. Miles 3 and 4 were under 12 minutes. I have never done that. I had never done it before. I have never done it since. But I did those 2 miles in less than 24 minutes, and I walked them both.
Dang.
So again,
I need to
that's my
focus on
most-
my walking speed.
well, it is a yeah, it's a skill. It's a talent. People always go, oh, well, you're so tall. That doesn't hurt. But as I try to explain to folks, what's more important is cadence and turning over your feet fast as you can. little mantra in my head would be faster, lighter, faster, lighter, faster, lighter. Left, right, left,
Mm.
right. Um, that's more important. There are people significantly shorter than I am who walk faster than I do. So, but I haven't kept up on that skill. I still walk faster than average, but not like that.
Yeah, we ran with Bob one of the Disney races. Well, we ran. Bob walked, and it was amazing. Like he stayed up with us probably 3/4 of the race. Like he's walking, boom, boom, boom. We're doing intervals. Bob's going ahead with his walk. We're slowing down. We're running up, catching a Bob, and it was like, dude, how does he do this? His walk
Practice.
pace is practice.
Practice. Yeah,
It's how to get to Carnegie Hall, right?
that's right.
Yeah.
Practice and dedication. It gets you everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, my husband is almost a foot taller than me, and he tells me I need to calm down the dopey walk sometimes.
Yeah.
Because
Good
when
for
I'm
you.
in the zone,
Yeah.
when I'm in it, and when I'm deep into a training block where
Yeah.
that's what I'm working at, he's like, can you please, the dopey walk needs to stop for just a little, because it's up a hill too, because everywhere in
Mhm.
Nebraska is hilly.
Hmm.
Weirdly,
Hmm.
you wouldn't think.
No, you
But
wouldn't think. Yeah.
No.
The Great Plains.
not here.
Okay.
Maybe once you get further west, but
I
here in
believe you.
Omaha,
Yeah, of course.
it's
Of course.
it's a little hilly, but I'll be going straight up a hill. He's like, can you stop?
But you said something else that I tuned into, and that is you get into a tempo. You get into a pace, and it feels bad to slow down once you're really locked in like that.
Yes, he just has to have the back of my head special, which is where you see the back of my head when I start the race, and I'm never to be found again. So,
I accuse my wife of walking at mall speed sometimes. Becky's a foot shorter than I am, and there'll be times in the mall where I go, slow down.
I think my boyfriend's mall speed is the opposite. He really enjoys just watching people and going slow. So he's like Sunday stroll speed when he's at the mall.
That's cool.
What must that be like? I could not imagine a Sunday stroll through the mall.
Natalie, do you think it's game time?
Almost. I don't know if we got John.
Yeah.
Talk about his
don't
most
let him off that
memorable
easy.
race.
Okay.
Deepest apologies, John.
No problem. Favorite race had to be a marathon 2022. The first marathon I did, the first Dopey. Like I said, I was training almost 2 years for this. A little side note: the day or a couple days after I registered for Dopey, I tore my meniscus.
Oh.
So I'm like, it's out of the question. Doc goes, you can still do it. It might not be fun, but you can still do it. Wow. He's a runner, so it's like it goes. Okay. I had a guy that did an Ironman. One of my clients that did an Ironman with 2 torn meniscus in his knees, both knees. So you can do it. I'm like, okay, so that was it. So first 3 races, okay. Last race, I'm like, got to mile 25, Italy. That what's the name? Alfredo Luigi Linguini on the mile marker 25. I'm like, mile 25, I got this. Yeah. I'm going to complete this. I knew it was done. I'm like, there's no way I'm not completing this. And that was it. So that was it.
Wow,
it's a great feeling.
Chills to think, like, when you get to the, this is in the bag. We got it.
Like if I had to crawl, I was crawling. It was not happening. It was not happening.
I definitely did not feel that until when I was in Chicago, until they have the markers at the miles, but then at 26 they start having markers every 100 meters.
Oh yeah.
At Chicago, and you have to do this big curve around the corner to go into the park, up the hill, and then down the middle of the park. And my parents were standing right before the curve, so I only had like 400 meters left or something. But I couldn't see the finish line, and I just like burst into tears and realized, like, oh my gosh, it's gonna happen. I am actually gonna make it to the end.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
It's the best feeling.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're waiting for Caitlin. Caitlin's about to experience it in January.
Oh, great.
Yep, exactly. I'm so excited.
You look it.
Look.
I think she's also terrified.
No, I really am excited. I do think like that when I picture myself like coming up to the boardwalk
Yeah.
at Disney, like coming up to mile, what is that, 24 maybe? I don't know. And I was talking to my parents and they also want to come for marathon weekend and they said that they'll be standing right there, right next to Swan and Dolphin. And I was like, I'm picturing them
Mm-hmm.
and it just
Mm-hmm.
makes me tear up every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't even run a marathon yet, but I really am genuinely excited.
That technique helps with your training, I think. It helps motivate
I
you in
think
your
so
training.
too.
I
That
really
was
Yeah.
do.
something my swim coach made us do in high school before the big like conference and state meets. We all had to go into a dark room, lay on the floor, and like visualize our races
Mm-hmm.
before we could get in the pool.
Okay. Yeah, it's helpful.
And you know what? Find a friend out there. That's one of the
Yeah.
biggest things. Like, we joke about it. Me and Greg always meet up at mile 10 on the marathon, and it's ironic. We always find ourselves at 10, and boom, we did 2 of them together like that. And without him there, it probably would have been
Oh, it makes all the difference. Makes the
yeah.
miles go by much faster.
We're like, wow, we're almost done.
Yeah, it is a lot easier to run with a friend or run
Yeah.
with a buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure. I found Bob during my first marathon. We were by Coronado Springs. It was
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing your voice, and it took me a second. And I turned around and I go, Bob? Because I like kind of skedaddled past. I was like, wait a minute, I'd recognize that voice anywhere.
It's fun. I have a wonderful time at the events. I had a good time. I just this last weekend was over in Cocoa Beach at Space Coast, and I had a great time. A lot of friends over there, and I've had 3 people run with me who hadn't finished a half marathon before. One of whom I knew. The other 2 just picked up on the race. But they all said the same thing that you said, Caitlin, and that all 3 of you said, Natalie, Hannah. Get together with somebody, and I was kind of pacing these folks, and I said, "Look ahead, that's mile 9 up there." And it was just 8 a minute ago. I said, "See, they go by much faster when you got someone to talk with and have fun."
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's not just my phone that I talk to, but people have been giving me good questions lately, so that keeps me entertained
Yeah.
when possible, when it's Nebraska headwinds.
Oh,
All right,
oh yeah.
before we get to our game, talk to us a little bit about some of the lore behind the start of the Rise and Run podcast.
I'm not sure how much lore there is. I alluded earlier when I talked about my little dog. I like to say we should always remember it all started out with a little dog, because that's what got me running again. We actually made a YouTube video talking through all this. Let me see if I can just give you the nuts and bolts, point to point.
And we can link the video for the listeners if
Yeah.
you want.
Okay. Yeah, that wasn't. Yeah, shameful plug.
Oh, that's okay.
shameless,
I have no
shameless
shame.
plug. Didn't mean to do that. But it explains it in greater detail. I think the big things are social. It's all social media really to get it started. Facebook, I joined up with a group which allowed me to meet Greg, and then ultimately Alicia. Not long after Alicia. Alicia had a Facebook group which John, Greg, Lexi, Jack, and probably Allie were part of. So that brought people together. I got very involved in the Facebook group with Alicia. We started running, and we talked about it casually. I don't know if we talked about it before recording or not. We do bi-weekly Zooms where we just get together. If you got nothing else to do, come chat with us on Thursday nights. So I got to know folks a little better. John came to a bunch of those. Again, Lexi, Jack, and of course, well, Alicia didn't come to too many of those. She came in the beginning,
Yeah.
but she's already established. So that's how I got to know the folks. I liked listening to podcasts while I was running.
Mm.
And there are a lot of good podcasts. There are a lot of good Disney podcasts. I listen to Lou Mangello's WDW radio all the time. There are a lot of good running podcasts. I liked listening to Kevin Gwynn's The Extra Mile podcast. But I couldn't find a podcast that consistently talked about running at Disney. I said, I'm going to do it. So I got my friends together and we kicked it off, and that's how it happened. And anything you want to toss in there, John?
Yeah, it was really funny. So we decided this. We'll get a podcast together. You know what? We'll do what 45-minute episodes. We'll see how this goes. Maybe we'll get 5 or 10 episodes, and maybe people will like us. Maybe they won't. We figured, we'll give it a stab. And now, what are we? 3 years later, Bob? 3 years?
Yeah, we were 3 years in October,
Yeah,
John. Yeah.
3 years later, we're still going, and it's a long, interesting ride.
It was
Like I said, the Zoom calls were basically the Rise and Run podcast
Yeah.
before the podcast.
It was the practice run.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Yeah.
That's
They're like,
awesome.
yeah, they
I
were.
like
They were
the
go ahead.
Avengers. The Avengers
Yeah.
just assembled in front of my
Yeah.
eyes.
I would call them bogsats, BOGSAT, a bunch of guys sitting and talking. So the bogsat became a podcast, and of course we got some guests along the way, and we got the format that we have.
Friends here.
Oh yeah! Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Can't say enough good things about the
Yeah.
community. It's been wonderful, including you, the part of it, the three of you for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks. It's
Yeah.
it was
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll go back. I told you I've become friends with Jeff over the years, and he gave me words to live by. I've said this before, but he gave. I met him in the hall of a motel when it was his race weekend. We hadn't known each other long. It was one of those where I knew he knew who I was, but didn't know me yet. So we pass in the hallway, and he says hi, and I said hello, and I got a nice greeting from Jeff. I said, Jeff, I don't know how you do it. You meet thousands and thousands of people. You treat us all like we're members of your family. And he said to me, well, Bob, you can't fake that. And I took that to heart. And that's been my operating guideline for all of this. When I talk about how much I love the people in our community, in our running community, not just the Rise and Run runners, but the Run Disney community in general. And I do love these people. They're wonderful, wonderful human beings, and I mean it. And I won't fake it. And it's been life-changing for me.
Yeah. And it's always come across that way too. I'd say I'm not quite an OG listener, but I came back from Princess in 2022 going, I need to have some more Disney content. Like I need more. I need to keep talking about this. I need to keep reliving this. And you guys had on Mystery, who was the victim of a not patty pan, but like caught her bib thief on course.
Yes.
And that was just wild to me. I'm like, whoa, this is, and I listened to every episode, then training for springtime, because I was like, wow, this is awesome. And it's just always come across like a very genuine group of people. And just, it's like, oh, I'm going to go meet my stranger friends at the Epcot parking lot at 3 a.m.
They're friends. That's another, I've met Lou Mangello a couple times. He doesn't know who I am, but I've met him a couple times. Talked about the podcast. And the first time I met him, I said, Lou, I'm a big fan of the podcast. And he goes, well, we don't have fans, we have friends. That's lesson 2 for me that I use all the time. We don't have fans, we have friends.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh.
But now, now it's grown, and now you're adding to, I'll use your word, the lore. So now there's more Disney podcast material out there. There are others. So I've never seen it as a competition. I've always been a rising tide lifts all boats type thing. I've always been happy to help publicize others who are trying to do the same thing.
Oh, yeah. We stand upon the shoulders of those who came before us. So
Absolutely.
we all unite, except not in this game.
That's an outstanding segue.
Thank you. So we're going to play a game of Never Have I Ever. And we're going to all talk about things we haven't done at parks, at Run Disney events, etc. And we're going to have 3 rules for how to score points. So I'll explain with an example of each. So number 1, my little ET finger here. Potato peeler attacked me. Weird. So you get a point.
You guys match.
Yay!
I'm missing the end of my thumb, literally.
Oh.
Ooh.
I don't want to join your club, guys. Okay.
You can cut that part out.
Phone home.
Yeah.
All right. So the first way that you can get a point is if you have never done a thing that someone else says. So if Caitlin says that she's never gotten a margarita on a course during a race, and neither Hannah or I have, Hannah and I get 1 point. So you can't get a point, well, on the question that you ask, because then it would just be a wash every single round. Except for there's two other rules. So if you are the question asker and nobody has done the thing that you say that that is your never have I ever, you get the 1 point and only you. So if Bob says he's never been to Club 33, please correct me if I'm wrong, because that would be cool. And
No, I'm writing it down right now for one of mine. Go ahead.
And no one else has, you are the one who gets the point off of that because nobody has done it.
Points for creativity.
So Natalie,
Yes.
you and I can't use never have I ever cut off the end of a digit. We can't use that.
Nope.
Because we both
Well, mine
done
didn't
it.
come off, so
Oh, all right.
it stayed intact. If you are, then you can get double points. If you're the question asker and you have not done something everyone else has done. So if Hannah says that she has never been to Disneyland Paris, but everyone else has, she gets 2 points. I haven't been to Disneyland Paris, but
yeah, that wouldn't work out. But for hypotheticals.
Hypothetically. So I kind of figured that it would be a little bit of a different twist on things so that those of us who have been a cast member, who are local, who are there a lot to the point where they kind of feel like they're local, still have an opportunity to get some points. So I will keep score. Bean Counter will put her skills to use for it.
All right.
All right. Most points at the end will win. All right. I'll start.
Okay.
Never have I ever bought new shoes at the expo.
Are we raising our hands
yeah, I
or
was gonna
how
say,
are we
how do we do
indicating
this?
yes
Okay.
or no?
I have never done that.
Yeah,
Me
me
either.
neither.
Oh,
Jinx.
cool.
So none of us have.
Nobody's bought shoes at the expo.
Good.
is
No
gonna be
one's
my
trying
only
anything
point.
new.
I
Yes.
tried back. We're getting Disney shoes back from Brooke.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure you knew that. New Balance used to do it,
Mhm.
and I tried one year, but they didn't have my size. So, nope.
So
Well,
close.
I'm glad we're playing the game now because in a year I've been so good about not buying new shoes. So because I buy them all on Black Friday and then I distribute over.
Yeah,
the
good
year.
move. Good move. Oh no, when we
Our-
get the Disney shoes back, I'm in. I'm buying it.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be like the double point question in a year. All right, Hannah, you want to go next?
Sure. I have never been to Disneyland.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm out.
I have.
I'm out.
I've never been there either.
I've been.
Oh, so what happens if we get a mix of responses?
So
Then
what?
John gets the point.
Does Hannah get a point too?
No, because then everybody would get a point every time they spoke. So
So
okay.
trying to prevent the wash.
now I got to get a new question too. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay, I guess it's my turn. So never have I ever done a Run Disney Disneyland race.
So
I have.
I have.
I haven't because I've never been to Disneyland.
I haven't either.
Because Hannah's never been to Disneyland, so
Yep.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Hannah gets the point.
And
John.
John.
Yes.
John's
Oh,
winning.
okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Pulling ahead.
All right. John.
Does it have to be Disney?
Yeah, just go for it.
Okay.
Love it.
Never have I ever trained 26 miles on a treadmill.
On a treadmill.
Neither have I.
That is
No.
oddly specific. No, I have not done that.
No, nobody?
Nope.
I've gone long, but not 26.
And on a treadmill, too.
On a treadmill.
Don't
no.
forget
On
that
the
part.
treadmill.
On the road, yeah,
Yes.
but not on a treadmill.
I haven't even done it on
Okay.
the roads. All right. Another for John.
Crushing it.
Smoking us. All right, Bob.
All right. Never have I ever used the lightning lane at Disney World.
Really?
Nope.
I have
won't-
many,
I have.
many
All right,
a
we're
time.
out. I love the lightning lane.
Never have I never did it either, Bob.
Okay.
Does that also count with Fast Pass? Because it's basically the same
Oh, now
line.
Fast Pass I used
They
to
gave it a
use.
new name.
Yeah, but I didn't pay for Fast Pass.
True.
Yeah.
That's
I
where I,
miss
drew
those
the line.
paper Fast Passes.
Yeah.
Dang, first round scores. I have a point. Hannah has a point. John has 4 points.
That John.
All right, going into round 2. Never have I ever started a Run Disney race in the first wave after World Disney. So like at 5 o'clock or 4:30 or whatever the time is.
That Corral A you were talking about?
But the first wave of A.
First wave of A, because I've started
Oh.
in Corral A, but I haven't been first wave.
Nope.
No, I have not done that.
Nope.
I've never even been in Corral A.
Nope. Oh, I have. I've been in Corral A, but I've never done that.
I have held the tape, but so if you need a swap, just know. All right, Hannah.
All right. Yeah. Never have I ever ridden Seven Dwarves Mine Train.
Oh.
Did we
I've
talk
only
about
done
this
it once.
before?
Yes, we have talked about it before.
Okay. Yeah, of course I've been on Seven Dwarfs Mine
Uh-huh.
Train.
One time.
I've been on it.
All right, that's our first
Okay.
2-pointer.
Yeah.
Good job, Hannah.
This is a recurring theme on our podcast where I tell them things, they act shocked that I haven't done them. But even my mother engages in this shock. She's like, "What do you mean? You've been to Disney so many times in the last year. You haven't ridden this?"
Oh, that's funny.
It's a really long line.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
All right,
And
Caitlin.
since I don't use Lightning Lane,
Yeah.
All right, so this one might shock you guys. Never have I ever been to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party.
nor have I.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Nope, for me.
I have.
Oh. Okay, so the rest of us
Alrighty.
get points, right? Just not you, Natalie?
And not me.
Not me and
And
not
Caitlin.
Caitlin. Yeah.
Okay. Wow,
Darn.
we're doing great.
I may go next year.
I really want to go, and I
Yeah.
think whenever I do, I want to go with my mom because she's
Oh, that'd be
very
nice.
fond of the Christmas lights.
Oh, that'd be
If-
great.
I've only done one after party. That was the Pirate and Princess.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've done Mickey's Not So Scary,
Mhm.
and then we did the after party after Wine and Dine.
Mhm.
But this was the first time I ever saw Disney at Christmas in general. I had never seen the tree and all of the decorations
yeah.
on Main Street. So that was very cool.
We had a good time at Jollywood. I mean, just a couple days ago, and Mickey's Not So Scary is okay. So I think next year, Mickey's Christmas for us.
All right.
Get your Snope on.
Oh yeah, they did it at Jollywood, and it was 40 degrees, so it felt right.
Not 80. All right, John.
Okay, this is a good one. Never have I ever been lost on a race.
Oh, I have.
Wait,
I
what?
have two.
Does it have to be a Disney race?
Oh, I don't see how you could get lost at a Disney race.
Right. I did a trail race one time.
Yeah.
It was Thanksgiving 2019. And my mom signed me and my sister up for this 10K, which we were going to use as proof of time for Star Wars in 2020. And we didn't know it was going to be a trail race. And I got lost at least. Yeah, my watch had hit 6.2 miles and there was no one around and I was in the woods and I had no idea where I was and I just started crying. It was it was not fun.
I did 7 miles on a very, very poorly marked 5K course one time, and I wasn't the only one.
Oh,
There were a whole bunch of us that got lost.
yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, I've been lost.
I have never been lost on a race. I am a volunteer for our local park run, and a lot of people get lost on our course because there's like other local runs that use the same area, but I have personally never been lost.
Okay.
She's the keeper from this.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have not gotten lost, even though some stress dreams have had me getting lost somehow.
I have stress dreams about somehow getting lost during Dopey and like making it almost to the end and then not.
Yeah, I can understand that.
All right, Bob, what's your next one?
Never have I ever, I'm referencing drinking around the world. Never have I ever done that in one day.
Yeah, I've never done that either. Like
I've never
one
done it,
drink from
period.
each country.
Yeah, I've done it, but over a period of a couple of days. I know people do
That's
it in
probably
one
a little
day.
more responsible.
I've never done it.
I've never done it.
So that's a 2-pointer. Wait, no, it's a 1-pointer.
Oh, okay, whatever.
But still,
Dang it.
because nobody has done it. I don't think I've even done it over a couple days because I have my favorites and then I'm like, I want another Tipsy Ducks in Love. So
Oh, TDIL, yeah.
yes.
Another friend, Monica, bought me the medal, the Drinking Around the World medal. So I have to.
I want one.
I've finished it so that I could fill it in, but not all at once.
All right. I have one that was designed with Greg in mind, but never have I ever been to an international Disney park.
Nope.
I have not.
I have not.
Me either.
I almost did.
You were
Was
almost
almost-
kind of there in the womb or something, right?
No, I was out of the womb. I was a real human being who was born at that point. But
Okay.
my mom had some business trip one time. I think it was 1997, something like that, in Paris. And if it had been my dad's business trip and my mom and I were just hanging out all day together, she said that she totally would have taken me to Disneyland Paris. And that would have been my very first Disney park experience ever. But my mom was in the meetings all day and it was me and my dad hanging out, and he's not a big Disney fan. So that was not really on his radar to go to a Disney park when he was in Europe for the first time. So
I got it.
yeah.
If they ever bring back Castle to Chateau, I think
that would
I'd
be
have to
so
very
fun.
seriously think about that. Yeah.
We talk about having a girls' trip whenever that does happen.
I gotta believe it will at some point, but I don't know when.
We're speculating that it's construction needs
Yeah, I
to
think
finish.
so.
Yeah.
I think it is. Yeah.
So
I might make it to DLP next year. I have some work travel. And my boss was the one who brought up. He goes, well, you know, it's only like a train ride away from where we would send you. I was like, just so you know,
That's
you
cool.
brought that up, not me.
That's cool.
Twist my arm.
Yeah. No kidding. All right, Hannah.
Never have I ever stopped at every character stop on a race.
Oh, I've never done that.
Anyone?
I have stopped at a character before.
But every
When I-
single
Stopped at a
character?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
no, not every
one.
single one.
Natalie, have you done it?
Yes, because at Wine and Dine for the 5K, I got all
Yeah.
4.
There you go.
Because I was going to say no because I missed 1 or 2, but I then remembered that with the 5Ks, it's a little easier to if you start an A to get all
Oh,
of them.
yeah.
So I have.
Okay.
So points for Caitlin, Bob,
Yes.
and John.
I'm on the board.
Where are we at? Where are we
I have
at
no
in the
idea.
round? I know we're like mid-round, but is
You're
John still
mid-round.
crushing us?
He is still crushing it. So I have 4 points.
I don't
Hannah
think
has 5. Caitlin has 2.
Ooh.
Bob has 3. And John has 6.
Oh,
Okay.
John.
I'm trying. I don't do anything. That's why.
That's kind of what I thought. Like when we were planning this, I was like, I might have a shot at this.
No, apparently not. John's got you beat.
All right, Caitlin.
Okay, so this one is oddly specific, but never have I ever had a tipsy ducks in love in Epcot. Or ever, I guess.
Okay.
Well, clearly I
Targeted.
have.
As have I.
I never had one either.
I haven't either.
I crossed a marathon finish line with one time.
Ooh.
All right. I've never had any sort of alcoholic beverage during a race, so that might have to change.
I typically walk or run with somebody. You know, somebody finds me, I find somebody. And I was with a friend named Mary. I said, "All right, thanks for keeping me company. I'm going to buy you a Tipsy Ducks in Love at the finish." And
Aw.
you know the way they make them, they pour the mix out of the container, and then they pour the whiskey on top, and then you take the straw and stir it. Right?
right.
Mary did not know that.
Oh no.
So Mary grabs this drink. It's like taking a shot of Jim Beam. She goes,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she wasn't happy with me.
Oh.
It bites at mile 25.
We're still friends.
Oh, good.
I aspired to cross the finish line with it last year, but then I was sloshing. There's a picture of me very happy with my Tipsy Ducks in Love on the race course, but it started sloshing, and I decided at that point in time that it was more important for me to drink the drink, and we would deal with crossing the finish line with it later, because I did not want to waste it. So I chugged it.
That's why I got a frozen margarita.
That is smart.
You're smart, John. We like the TDIL so much we make it at the house.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not hard. You can find the recipe online.
All right. I'm going to have to try that.
Mhm.
I'm in Kentucky, so we got a lot of whiskey and bourbon around here. Yep.
Yeah.
True.
Alrighty. Whose turn is it?
It's John's up next.
Okay. Never have I ever ate at Le Cellar.
Oh, the Cellier, the Canadian place. Oh yeah.
Does the Food and Wine Festival booth count?
No.
No, I'm talking inside at the steakhouse.
In the cellar.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
no.
I have on several occasions.
No.
You need to go.
Is it good? I was thinking I might take my parents.
Yeah,
the
if you can
marathon
get a
event.
reservation. It's small.
And
Yeah.
you
So
got to
it's a
get a
tough-
ticket into Epcot.
Yeah.
They have
you gotta do
tickets.
that.
We'll have to
Oh, there you go.
strategize the day if we
Yeah.
can get in or not.
It's a tough reservation because it's small. You can go at lunchtime. It's the same menu.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's good.
Beer, cheese, soup.
Beer cheese soup. Right, with the pretzel bread.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to need to go now. All right, Bob, you're up.
All right, the important question, is this the last round or do we have another round left?
We'll go another round.
One more.
Okay. All right, since we did a lot about Disneyland Europe or Disneyland out of the country, never have I ever, and remember I was 20 years in the Army, never have I ever been to Europe.
Oh, I'm out.
That's not
I'm out.
fair. Rude. I have.
I haven't
Oh,
been
yeah,
to
you
Europe.
just went.
I've been to Europe.
It's been
Oh.
11 years since I last went to Europe, but I've been.
Something else I need to
Oh.
correct or fix, but I never have. I've been all over the Pacific, but I've never been to Europe.
Huh. Interesting. All right, point standings going into the final round. I have 4 points. Hannah has 7. Caitlin has 3. Bob has 3. John has 8.
I have a chance. Maybe.
Final Jeopardy. All right. Never have I ever done a dead last start.
I gotta
Neither
think.
have I.
Nope.
I don't think I have either. I don't recall. I'm going to say no, I haven't.
No.
Is that single or double?
That's a single. If you had all done it and I was the only
Oh, right.
outlier, that would be a double. It's on my bucket list, especially with the Chicago fundraiser. Chicago, drink every time you hear Chicago like that. I like want to do it, and then like would I like a penny for everybody I pass, but it's on my bucket list, but I haven't had the gumption to do it quite yet. All right, Hannah.
I don't know.
I never did that.
I do it all the time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Never have I ever taken a picture with Mickey during a race.
During a race.
That's a good question.
I don't know. I don't recall because
or I guess like because he's at the start and finish occasionally.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, he's at the start and finish. It's always at the he's usually at the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
Well, most times.
Well, for the marathon, he is.
Yeah.
I don't recall ever taking a picture with Mickey during a race, so I don't think I have.
I have taken a picture with Mickey during the race.
Which one? Do you know?
It was with Natalie during the Princess 10K this past year in February. Yeah, he was like a king or a pauper or something.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, he was very regal looking.
Nice. Yeah.
I don't think I have either. I don't remember that.
All right, well, we have something to add to our bucket lists, guys.
There you go.
Maybe we can all get in the same photo at Marathon Weekend.
Sure. I think the PhotoPass people would love that, though. PhotoPass would love us. They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, yes, clear 5 people out of this line, perfect."
We do that a lot. We clear sometimes 10 or 12.
Yeah, we had like 25 that one time. I think in that one photo.
Oh yeah, it's tough getting everybody crammed in together sometimes.
All right, Caitlin.
All right, I got something on all of you. Never have I ever run a marathon.
Saved it for the end.
Oh, yeah.
I have, in fact, ran a marathon before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done too.
Okay.
All right.
Good job, Caitlin.
Thank you.
You'll be joining us shortly, though. You won't be able to hold on to that for long.
That is true. I got a little bit over a month to go.
Oh, man, it's creeping up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, John.
Okay, so I'm trying to think.
Hit us with a zinger.
Okay, never have I ever rode Everest during the marathon.
I'm out.
I've wanted to, but I haven't done it.
I've never run a marathon, so.
Yeah.
I haven't run the marathon at Disney yet, so.
Okay.
No.
That was almost a stumper, but I was going to change my fuel rod during my first marathon. And since there's one in the Everest gift shop, I saw the single rider line was really short. And I'm like, if I have to wait too long, I'm out. They sent a whole train of single riders. So I walked on.
Nice.
And then I changed my fuel rod.
All right.
But it was one of those I had adamantly said I wasn't doing it.
The universe thought different.
Yes, I did. It was amazing.
Nice.
All right, Bob.
All right. Never have I ever, and if you need me to clarify, just say so. Never have I ever worn a race shirt to that race or during that race.
Well, I'm out.
Like you mean like the actual race shirt for that race weekend?
Yeah, I've never worn the marathon race shirt at the marathon. I mean, I wear it later in the day, but I've never worn it to that race.
I did that just the other day at a Thanksgiving turkey trot. I picked up my bib and my shirt before technically my sister-in-law picked up my bib for me because she's awesome. And she handed me my bib and my shirt, and I just put my shirt on and then attached the bib to the shirt. So I do that often.
Well, a lot of folks do.
My boyfriend does that.
I've just never done it.
But not me.
Never did it.
I did for the Expedition Everest 5K.
Okay.
I did. Ooh. That is the only time I have done it.
And it was shortened. See, it's bad mojo.
Yeah, that's true. Or my cousin and I were matching too, so I was like, oh, I don't have to pick out like a special shirt. Like, well, I'll be fine. I won't chafe over what ended up 2.7 miles.
Yeah.
of galloping through the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
It's a fun time.
Mhm.
All right, final standings here. Tied in fourth place are Natalie and Bob with
Yay.
5 points apiece. Hey, nobody's last. We all get the same. We just got the confetti cannon, actually. We
All
just got the
right.
confetti cannon.
Pew, pew, pew,
Oh.
pew.
In third place, we have Caitlin with 6 points. In second place, we have Hannah with 9. And our winner of the evening is John with 10 points.
Wow.
Well,
I'm
Good
looking.
job, John.
means I
I'm
gotta do
looking,
stuff. Actually, it sounds like.
Yeah. I'm looking at up top here, John, for the ta-da button, and I realized I don't have the controls.
Yeah, Bob,
Yeah, we
Bob,
need to figure out how to get the little sound effects.
Ta-da! There you go.
we have a different platform than you guys, so that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get
You
there
have now
someday.
won a bucket list of things you can do.
Yeah. Well, some of them are
Alright.
because you guys, I guess, did them, and I forget how it goes. Yeah.
All right, that was a ton of fun. Thank you guys for
Yeah.
playing along.
Did we lose
Sure.
Bob? Oh, there, okay. He looks he was frozen there for a second.
I was for a second, yeah.
I know
Very
it's cold there,
stoic.
Bob. I know it's cold there, Bob, but
Thanks so much again to Bob and John from the Rise and Run podcast for joining us. You can check out the Rise and Run podcast on all different podcatchers, and it drops on Thursdays. So, in perfect time to accompany you on a long run over the weekend.
And if you've been listening, we do mention at the end of every episode that we like to read your reviews out loud. And we did get a new review this week on Apple Podcasts. So we're going to read it for you now. Run Disney with the girlies. So much fun listening to their Run Disney views. Excited to listen in on their dopey journey. And that's from Carissa on Apple Podcasts. I do happen to know that this is Carissa from my running accountability group. And I just wanted to give you a little shout out that I'm so excited to see you marathon weekend. And thanks so much we're so glad that you like the podcast.
Wow, she dropped me a birthday present. She wrote it on my birthday.
Aw.
That was so kind. If you enjoyed listening to our show, please leave us a review and a 5-star rating. We love reading your reviews out loud. And, like Carissa, you might be featured on a future podcast episode. We've also started a community spotlight on our Instagram at Stride Sisters Podcast. If you want to be featured for a Medal Monday, Finish Line Friday, or any accomplishment that you want to celebrate, send us a picture via our social media platforms or our email. All the ways to connect with us can be found in the show notes. Thanks for listening. Until our next adventure, we're wishing you endless miles of magic and memories. See you next time.